Deeply unsettling tunnel. What would you do if curiosity led you into a place where logic and reason vanished? Sometimes, the scariest mysteries aren't what we find but what we leave unanswered. A tunnel so clean it defies nature, a place that challenges reality and sanity. Discovery of the tunnel. It started like any other evening of youthful adventure. My friends and I, Sam, an amateur urban explorer, and Lisa, the more cautious one of the group, were wandering the hills near our neighborhood. The day had been unremarkable until we stumbled upon something peculiar, a square tunnel embedded in the side of a hill. Its entrance was sealed with a rusted metal grate, but a portion had been broken off, leaving a narrow opening just wide enough for someone to squeeze through. Naturally, Sam was the first to suggest we explore it, but we decided to wait until the next day to properly prepare. That night, none of us could stop thinking about the tunnel. It wasn't a typical stormwater drain. It was too perfectly square, about 5 feet high and 5 feet wide. Its very existence seemed strange. What purpose could it serve? By morning, our curiosity had grown too intense to ignore. Armed with powerful flashlights, we returned to the tunnel, ready to uncover its secrets. Entering the unknown, dropping into the tunnel was surprisingly easy, but the moment we stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. At the entrance, there was some graffiti, harmless tags and scribbles you'd expect to see in any forgotten urban space. Yet, as we ventured deeper, the walls became disturbingly pristine. After about 100 feet, the graffiti disappeared entirely, leaving behind smooth, untouched cement walls. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the faint metallic clangs echoing from somewhere deep within. Probably just a car over a manhole, Sam suggested, but his voice betrayed uncertainty. The first stretch of the tunnel extended for 200 to 300 feet in a straight line. The cement walls felt suffocating, the darkness pressing in despite our flashlights. By the time we reached the first turn, a sharp right, we felt like we had entered another world. The metallic corridor, turning right, we immediately noticed a change. The cement ceiling transitioned to sheet metal, dotted with screws that jutted out like tiny spikes. The sound of our footsteps reverberated off the metal, amplifying every movement. This section of the tunnel was slightly shorter, about 150 to 200 feet, but it felt longer due to the oppressive atmosphere. The air seemed heavier, and the metallic clangs we had dismissed earlier grew fainter, as if retreating deeper into the tunnel. When we reached another turn, this time to the left, we hesitated. "Why is this place so clean?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. She was right. Despite being underground, the tunnel was immaculate. No dust, no dirt, no trash. It was unsettlingly sterile. The room of unease. The left turn led us into a room, and here, the tunnel revealed its most bizarre features yet. The space was larger, with a ceiling high enough for us to stand upright. At the center was a manhole cover, and beside it, a narrow staircase leading upward. There was an oval-shaped opening that led to a small area filled with leaves, and another stretch of the square tunnel extended straight ahead. But what caught our attention most was the lifeless body of a raccoon lying on the floor. The raccoon's fur had been scalped cleanly from its skull, exposing the bone beneath. There was no blood, no signs of decay. The body was eerily preserved, as though it had only just died. We stood there, paralyzed, our flashlights fixed on the lifeless animal. What could have done this? Sam whispered. None of us had an answer. Deeper into the darkness, pushing past our unease, we chose to continue down the square tunnel. The patch of light we had seen earlier beckoned us, a small, faint beacon in the distance. However, As we moved forward, the tunnel began to shrink. The walls stayed 5 feet wide, but the ceiling lowered, forcing us to hunch over as we walked. The air grew colder, the silence more oppressive. About 400 feet in, we came across another drop, this one unremarkable yet strangely foreboding. By this point, the tunnel had narrowed to just 4 feet high. Every step became a struggle as our backs ached from crouching, but the light ahead kept us moving. Another 50 feet brought us face to face with a second dead raccoon. Like the first, it was perfectly intact except for the scalped skull. The absence of blood or decay sent shivers down our spines. The exit. Finally, we emerged into daylight. The tunnel's exit was located next to a gas station in our neighborhood, a location that felt disturbingly ordinary given the surreal experience we had just endured. We climbed out, stretching our sore muscles and sharing uneasy laughs to mask our discomfort. Yet, as we walked to my house, our conversation took a darker turn. Why was it so clean? Lisa asked again. And the raccoons? What killed them? The more we talked, the more the details of the tunnel gnawed at us. The metallic clangs we'd heard at the start couldn't have been cars. There was no road above the tunnel. The sterile walls, the lack of graffiti, the strange dimensions, none of it made sense. Reflecting on the experience, back at my house, we tried to rationalize what we had seen. Perhaps the tunnel was part of an old military installation or a forgotten utility project. But even these explanations felt inadequate. The scalped raccoons haunted our thoughts. What kind of predator kills with such precision and leaves no trace of blood? And why were the bodies left there, perfectly preserved? Searching for answers. Determined to find answers, I spent the next few days researching tunnels in our area. Online forums, maps, and local history archives yielded no clues. It was as though the tunnel didn't exist. Frustrated, I posted about our experience on social media, hoping someone might recognize the description. The responses were overwhelming. People shared similar stories of unexplained tunnels and eerie phenomena, but none could explain what we had encountered. The haunting memory. As days turned into weeks, the memory of the tunnel lingered. Nightmares plagued my sleep, filled with images of the scalped raccoons and the oppressive darkness. I began to avoid the area near the hills, unable to shake the feeling that something was watching. Sam and Lisa felt the same. Our once carefree explorations were replaced by a cautious avoidance of the unknown. The unanswered mystery. To this day, the tunnel remains an enigma. I've returned to take pictures of the entrance in the first 50 feet, but I refuse to go any deeper. The unanswered questions still gnaw at me. What was the purpose of the tunnel? Who, or what, maintains it? And why does it feel so deeply, fundamentally wrong? Perhaps some mysteries are better left unsolved. But one thing is certain. That tunnel changed us. It reminded us that the world is full of places where logic falters and fear takes hold, and not every story has a neat, tidy ending. If you enjoy chilling stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.